Hi guys, today I am going to show you one of my favourite curly girl method friendly ways of removing product buildup from hair. So for those of you that don't know, just some sort of simple ways of identifying whether you need to clarify your hair is your scalp feels a bit itchy and flaky, and generally your hair feels weighed down and overly producty even if you don't have much product in your hair. Now I do have a video sort of discussing all the different ways of clarifying wavy and curly hair if you guys wanted to go check that one out. But this video, as I said, I'm doing my favourite method. I'm talking of course about the Acv Rinse. Now for those of you that aren't familiar with Acv, it stands for apple cider vinegar. So this is the Acv that I use. It's £1.49 in shops like Home Bargains and B&M, and it is available in most health food stores as well. So it's got see the sediment that's floating around? That's called the mother, and that is actually the ingredient in the vinegar that is where all the goodness lies. So if you are looking to get some Acv, look for a bottle that says with the mother. So just a little word of caution before you dive straight into trying Acv. At the end of the day, it is vinegar. So putting it on your hair, it can dry it out, especially if you do it too strong. The first time I ever did an Acv rinse, I'd only been curly for about a year tops, and I was just starting to feel like my hair needed a bit of extra help because fine wavy hair, I've got a lot of hair, but it gets weighed down very easily. I found that co-washing alone wasn't quite working for me, so I started to incorporate a clarifying rinse, and I made it too strong, and my hair just sort of went and shriveled up, and I was just panicking, and I was just slathering my hair in conditioner and rinsing it and conditioner. So be very sort of cautious when using the Acv. Start off with less than you think you'd need, because you can always sort of add more next time. So now I'm going to show you guys how I like to use it in my routine. So I'm starting with wet hair, as you can see, and the reason why I'm doing it on wet hair is because I consider my hair to be low porosity. So I just find when I'm doing the Acv rinse, it just works better if my hair's wet to begin with. So this is what I use, how do you pronounce it? Eco, I think? Yeah. The raw apple cider vinegar. If you see the lovely sediment swishing around inside. So I'm going to take my jug. This is just a blue plastic jug from Mothercare that I wash the kids' hair with. Obviously I do give it a good rinse after I've done the Acv. And I'm just going to fill it. If you can see there's like a marker, I'm not quite sure what that's for. But that's how much apple cider vinegar I put in. You can probably hear I've got the shower running, so I'm just going to top it up with water from the shower. I'm also trying desperately not to smudge my makeup. So I'm literally just using the shower, just topping it up. This is warm water, not hot, because I've got coloured hair and I don't want to strip the colour out too much. So I'm just filling it up to sort of the bottom of the blue sort of splash, stop the water going in your face guard. Now this is the part where I'm going to try not to blind myself. So all I do is take all my hair back. I'll turn side on so you guys can see. I normally do it with my head upside down in the shower, but that's possibly the world's most unflattering angle. So I'm going to do it this way. I have done it this way in the past as well, so not the complete first time. So I take my head right back, like as far back as I can go without breaking my neck, and then I slowly pour the water, the apple cider vinegar mixture, over my hair, slowly, trying to sort of focus. Obviously the water is going to run down my ends, but I focus the pouring on my scalp only. Here we go. Wish me luck. Straight away it's dribbled in my eye already. So this is fun. And then I'm just sort of trying to aim it throughout my scalp. And then what I like to do is just give it a really good scrub. I'm hoping I haven't just blinded myself because I've got a drip in my eye. So wish me luck, guys. And then all I'm doing now, turning my back so hopefully you guys can see, I'm just giving my scalp a really good scrub and really distributing that mixture. Right, moment of truth, I'm going to open my eye and see if I'm blind. I'm fine. I'm fine, guys. I'm fine. Once my scalp feels nice and sort of cleansed, I'm just going to make sure I rinse it really, really thoroughly, because if you leave it in your hair, it will be quite drying. So I'm going to go rinse. So I've carefully rinsed out my hair. Now my bathroom is looking like the bathroom in Bates Motel. So what I'm going to do next, as I said, ACV can be quite drying to hair. So now I'm going to use my all-time favourite conditioner, the Child's Farm conditioner, and I'm just going to make sure that I'm putting back some of the moisture and goodness. So I like to use sort of a decent dollop, and this does vary. So I'm going to just sort of slap it on my hair. This is using the praying hands method. This just helps distribute the product nice and evenly. I'm focusing on the mid-lengths and ends first, and then just sort of touching the top of my hair. And then I'm going to flip it round to the other side and apply just a touch more, not the same amount, because then my hair will be too weighed down, because it's just this little bit that needs some attention. So I'm sort of raking it through, praying hands, and then sort of touching the top of my hair. And then what I'm going to do is get it all nice and detangled. So it's already feeling a little bit better. It's feeling nice and clean, nice and healthy, and that's all from the mother, that sediment that's in the ACV. It looks gross and it looks quite off-putting, but that's where all the goodness is. So now I just have an old Babyliss hairbrush. I actually bought this when I used to blow dry my hair straight because it's got the vents in it. But now, because the bristles, they're very flexible, so I find it works really well for detangling in the shower. So I'm starting from sort of the mid-length first again, up to the roots last, because you don't want to drag the tangles down and then just make a huge massive mess. So that's a little tip. What I will sometimes do, if my hair's feeling particularly tangled, is I will take a little bit of warm water from either the shower or the bath, wherever I'm washing my hair, and I will sort of dip the hairbrush in the water and then brush my hair. And I find adding the warm water really helps melt those tangles away. But as it happens, my hair's actually behaving quite well today, so I haven't needed to do that step. It's only been a couple of days since I last washed my hair. It's usually when it's been sort of close to a week and my hair's getting quite sort of tangled and a bit neglected. So I'm just sort of picking up the hair to make sure I'm getting all those tangles at the crown of my head. And you can see how thick this conditioner is. It is just magical. It makes my hair feel amazing. So now I'm going to rinse all this out, and then I will show you guys my next step. So what I've done now is just given my hair a really good rinse with warm water, and I'm just using an old pyjama top to squeeze out sort of the excess moisture so my hair is wet but not dripping. And I find my hair needs to be quite wet just because I find it's easier to manipulate and style. So the first thing I use is the Boots Curl Cream. There's been a bit of sort of hit and missness on how available this is in store and online. Like, I'm not quite sure if it's been discontinued or not. as far as I'm aware, it is back in stock now. So what I like to do, what I love about this is not only does it smell really sort of fresh and clean, it's only £2 and I only need to use that much for my whole head. That's like my middle fingertip. So what I like to do is rub it in my hands to sort of warm it up and help spread it out a bit. Then what I like to do is rake it through my mid-lengths and ends first. I do need some product on the top of my hair, but I find with the curl cream, where it's so thick and my hair is quite fine, like I've got a lot of it, but it gets weighed down very easily. So I sort of, again with the conditioner, sort of lightly sort of touch it to my hair. Then I am going to use the Superdrug Purple Extra Firm Hold Mousse and give it a really good shake. I love this mousse because it's so cheap, and I only do a sort of, not a huge long spray, but it expands so well. So what I like to do is apply sort of a decent sized amount per side of my head. So I'm, again, same with the curl cream, I'm raking it through, starting on the mid-lengths and ends first, and then raking it through to my roots. And you can tell when it's all raked in because your hair stops fizzing. And then the same again for the other side. Another little shake, just to sort of decent amount. And then I'm going to just rake it through. I'm not quite sure what makes this extra firm hold. I'm going to say that now. I looked at the pink can, which is an extra firm hold. It might just be firm hold. And the ingredients look pretty much the same. So if anybody can shed some light on this, please let me know in the comments. So, I'm trying to blob it all over my arm. What I'm doing now is just sort of picking up the roots. I've still got that little sort of residue on my hands. And then what I will sometimes do, trying to work out if my hair needs it, I'll demo just for the purposes of the video, is I just take another sort of tiny amount. This is probably maybe a golf ball size. Smooth it between my two hands and then just give my roots and sort of the back of my head a little scrunch, just to make sure that they're going to get that hold. Where my hair is more on the wavy side, I do find that I need the product sort of as close to the roots as possible without weighing it down. It's a very fine line, because if I don't have the hold at the roots, my waves drop quite quickly. Now I've got just an old paddle brush that my mum gave me years ago. I'm just going to very quickly detangle, because this is my super speedy routine. I do have a video where I go more into detail on brush styling and the different ways of curl training, but to be quite honest, I can't be bothered to do that today because I'm filming again tomorrow, so I'm just going to have to wash my hair again tomorrow. So I'm not going to bother. And then I sort of push my hair forwards to try and find my parting. I'm trying to train my hair to go into more of a centre parting, because for years I had a side part, but that makes you look old. And I'm not going to give up my skinny jeans, so I figured I could give up the centre part. So next I'm just going to clip up the top layers of my hair, and I am going to brush using my wonderful Denman brush, but I'm not going to brush style per se. I'm not going to bother any sort of curl training. It depends how sort of fancy I feel, and I don't feel fancy today. So what I did when I first started using this was I took out I took out 3 rows of this brush, but I've since made friends with it. So I've put the bristles back in. The one thing I will say, if you're getting used to to the Denman brush, is make sure your hair is properly detangled, because it is very unforgiving. So what I like to do is brush it up and out and then sort of pinch my hair, and that helps the clumps sort of come back. So what I would do is I'd normally brush up and out, then I would hold the brush upside down and sort of twirl it as I'm going down the hair, then catch it as it falls, give it a little finger coil, and that gives me more defined ringlets. But as I said, I can't be bothered today. So I'm just brush styling up and out very quickly, just to help give me that little bit of volume and movement that we all crave. So up and out, and it's similar sort of action to using straighteners, where you follow your hairbrush with the straighteners, but obviously it's fingers. And it's weirdly sort of, I don't know if it's ironic, I don't really know how to define irony, but I'm going to say it's ironic that I spent years straightening my hair using this action, and I'm now doing the same, but it makes it go curly. Same as how I never used to eat my crusts, because my grandma used to tell me, if you eat crusts, you'll get curly hair. And I used to say, well, I don't want curly hair, Grandma. Look at me now, eh? So you can probably hear it snagging a little bit. So that's why I say make sure your hair is very detangled. And then I'm brushing up and out, trying to remove all the little snags. Then I pinch it down, let it form, and give it a little scrunch. My hair does love a scrunch. I do have another video on does scrunching actually make a difference. The answer, for my hair at least, is yes. So you can see it's sort of, the clumps have come together because of the sort of pinching movement. But I think once this is dry, it is going to be sort of more voluminous waves, which is fine. I have long since made my peace with the fact my hair is more on the wavy side. There's this weird sort of obsession I find, it might just be me, I don't know, where it's sort of, wavy girls sort of feel like their waves aren't as beautiful as those big bouncy ringlets. So that's part of the reason why I started doing this, was to show that, well, yes, wavy hair is beautiful. And to be honest, all hair is. And I'm just hoping that people will see this and they'll say, oh, that looks like my hair. I'm going to give this a go. It's just basically everything I wish I had there for me when I started taking care of my natural hair. Because it was all for sort of type 4 hair, which is like kinks and coils, or the really big, bouncy, juicy ringlets. There wasn't much stuff out there for sort of a mixture of waves and curls. So I'm hoping I can make someone's curly journey that little bit easier. So I'm just brushing it out. What I love about the Deadman brush as well is it does, it really makes sure that you've distributed your product evenly. So it does give me more consistent results than if I skip it, which I do sometimes. Like, this is my sort of middle ground lazy hairs routine. Some days I will just rake through some styling products, give my hair a quick brush and go. I'm not going to do that today. I'll make a bit of effort for you guys. Then flip my head back, so this is the next layer. So again, it feels quite sort of movementy at the roots. I'm just full of wonderful terminology today. So for the top part of my hair now, I'm gonna sort of scoop up this section. That can come and play too. And then I'm just gonna clip this sideways just because it's not really enough to warrant sort of twisting and clipping. Brushing up and out. And then doing this sort of pinching motion. And then I am going to put it into the centre parting, because as I said, I'm trying to sort of train my hair to look young. And then the last bit, come on, clip, is find the middle. It sort of naturally wants to go slightly to the side. So I'm just sort of, I don't want to sort of force it, because that just make it look sort of uneven. But it needs to do as it's told. I'm in charge, not my hair. So again, I'm brushing, giving it a little sort of squeeze, and then scrunching. And that helps, the scrunch helps sort of counterbalance the sort of straightening and the pinching. I have seen on another video on YouTube, you compare it to, you know, when you drag scissors down a ribbon, you wouldn't think that stretching out a curl would make it spring, but it's that same sort of motion. So now what I'm going to do next, to try and keep this curl under control, is use my bucket of gel. I got this for just under £6 off Amazon. It's the Eco Style argan oil gel. Don't know why I had to look, it's the same gel I've used for years. And I do love this gel because it's just so gloopy and delicious. And it smells amazing. I wasn't going to eat it. I realised that might have looked a bit like I was going to eat it. So now what I'm going to do is just flip all my hair to one side and give it a really good scrunch. That squishy noise that you can hear, that's how you know your hair has enough product in it. And then with the other hand, I'm making sure that I focus on the back of my head, because I always neglect it, and then I'll have these huge juicy clumps and ringlets at the front, and then sort of fluffier waves at the back. So I'm really trying to make an effort to make sure that I get all the product covering my whole head. And the reason why I love this gel is because it really adds shine to my hair. It's got the hydrolyzed wheat protein, which draws in moisture and then seals that moisture in. Makes my hair go really shiny, and particularly when I'm scrunching it in like I'm doing now, it really helps my curls pop and last that little bit longer. So I have scrunched it quite far up my hair, not right into the roots, but again, I want to sort of encourage the curls to start as far up my head as possible. And then I'm going to shake my head back, just make sure again that I'm putting it in that parting. Again, one more sort of little scrunch. I've still got a bit of residue of the gel on my hands. And this is just sort of giving me a rough indication of how it's going to dry. I have in the past just sort of let my parting do its thing, but it can never work out where it wants to go, and I'll end up with sort of all weird, like almost bowl patches, because all of it goes to one side. So I try and train it whilst it's still wet. And then what I'm going to do next, like I said, I've still got a bit of residue on my hands. That little squelchy noise. I'm just going to not fluff my roots, just gently pick them up off the scalp, and then that really helps give that volume and movement another little boost. So that was my very quick brush styling, knot styling routine. So the next step, I'm going to take the top that I used to just sort of squeeze the excess moisture out my hair, and I do a sort of wet plop buff hybrid. So I found my hair doesn't like the full-on plop, which is where you literally flip your head upside down, plop it into the t-shirt, and then tie it tightly. That sort of makes my roots in particular go quite sort of squashed and a bit wonky. So what I do is I will show you guys now. So I hold my top as if I'm going to put it on upside down. I'm going to hope I don't disappear. I'll try and stand on my tippy toes if needs be. So I'm going to flip my head upside down, make sure all the hair is facing forwards, and then I'm going to put my head into the top upside down. Again, making sure all the hair's in, and then I'm going to gently pull it up back over my head to make sure all my hair is in. Hope you guys can see me. And then I twist the sleeves. If I've got a long sleeve top, I'll tie them, but this was only a 3/4 length sleeve top. So I'm just going to use my claw clip and just clip them in, and then I'm going to break my hair clip. There we go, this seems to work. And then I'm gonna tuck in the ends. I will normally clip my hair. I will normally clip the top, but it just broke. So, and then I take the ends. I've made sure my hair is all inside the top. Take the ends and then just loosely knot them. And this really allows my hair to sort of soak up the products and helps those curls form before the drying stage. And speaking of, I'm going to show you guys now how I like to dry my hair. So now what I'm going to do is unwrap my hair. It's only been wrapped up for probably 5-10 minutes, so it's still going to be pretty wet, but I'm just going to take it down and then give it a little shake just to make it sort of do as it's told. If you can make curly hair do as it's told. Then I'm going to take the top and just give it a very gentle scrunch. This is called micro plopping, and it's another good sort of compromise if, like me, your hair doesn't agree with the full-on wet plop. So I'm just gently scrunching it. This really helps spring my curls back up, as well as it helps remove the extra moisture that's in my hair, so it really speeds up the drying process. Because if you've got a lot of hair like me, it is very time consuming standing there diffusing your hair. I think my record was something like 45 minutes and it still wasn't dry. That might not seem like long, but same as when you're doing a plank, it is a long time if you're doing it. So my hair is micro plopped. Just making sure my parting is still doing as it's told. So what I'm going to do now is diffuse my hair. If I've got time, if I've got the inclination, I will air dry my hair because that's obviously less damaging than using a diffuser. But my hair, how long have I timed it for? I think my hair takes about 4 hours to air dry, and that would put it at 7:30. So it's a lot of ag. It's not particularly comfortable walking around with wet hair either. Like, I know I'm not going anywhere, but just walking around your house with wet hair, especially with a toddler who is very grabby, is not the most practical solution. So I'm going to show you guys how I diffuse my hair, and I have a couple of hacks. So this is my trusty Remington Hair Envy diffuser. I got it when I was about 13, and I'm now nearly 30. So that's, oh my gosh, that is 17 years I've had this, and it is still going strong. I'm dreading the day it dies because I've never had to buy a hairdryer before, so I don't know what to do. And I'm using the Gamma diffuser, which I have borrowed from my lovely best friend, and she has now asked for it back. We just haven't met up yet, so I will miss it. So I'm going to do a time lapse with while I'm diffusing my hair, and I'm going to put the sort of tips and tricks that I've learned over the years. I'll have them pop up, but I might as well list them now. So the first one is start at the roots whilst you're drying your hair first. That not only helps create volume and movement at the roots where you need it most, it also minimises heat damage to the ends of your hair. I also find that keeping my head moving constantly whilst I'm drying my hair, that again really helps put in that movement and volume. You need to be making sure that you put the volume in whilst your hair is wet, because however your hair is when it's wet is how it's going to dry. The next one is I try not to sort of put the hairdryer too close to my hair. I do put it quite close just because it helps my hair dry quicker, but I find hover diffusing, it sort of helps minimise the heat damage at the roots. So I'm now going to dry my hair. hair is now pretty much dry. It actually felt like it dried quite quickly. I know I was mucking around doing all pretend looking at my watch and that during the time lapse, but I think it's where I haven't bothered brush styling it and putting it into the big clumps, so as a result it's been able to dry that bit quicker. So I'm holding, as you probably can see, the Imbue Curl Energizing Hydration Serum. It was $7.99 from Superdrug, I believe, and this is what I like to use to sort of finish my hair, scrunch out the crunch, and just help seal in all that goodness that I've just put in. So it comes as a sort of lightweight milky liquid, and as I've said, my hair gets weighed down quite easily, so I just use a little spritz of water, and I find this sort of, I mean, it is diluting it, but it just basically helps stop my hair getting weighed down so easily. So I like to smooth it over gently using praying hands first. As I said, my hair is still slightly damp, so I've got to be very gentle so as not to cause frizz. And that's part of the reason why I do the praying hands first, because it smooths down any frizzies that were trying to escape. I then very gently scrunch it, which helps again pop those curls back up. I'm going to do the same for the other side. 1 pump of the serum, 1 squirt of the water, mix it together, and then very gently praying hands over my hair and then scrunch it up. I do find when I do this, after a couple of hours, my hair gets an even better cast than it has currently. So what I do then is I just use dry hands to scrunch out the sort of second cast. Then I like to finish off by gently fluffing the roots. This just helps my hair get as big as it can get because it still has to set. So this is my hair from the back. So I didn't get it before, annoyingly, but it felt quite sort of weighed down and my scalp was a little bit itchy, a little bit flaky. But now it just feels, my hair feels light, my scalp feels clean. So I really think if you're struggling with a little bit of product buildup and you're reluctant to shampoo, I really recommend trying the Acv Rinse. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know in the comments if you've tried the Acv Rinse or what your personal favourite way of clarifying and removing buildup is. As always, don't forget to hit like, subscribe and share, and I will see you soon. Bye bye! What is that curl doing? Who was you told? From my hair. From your hair. From hair. Some signs of removing product buildup is especially... Put my teeth in. Once my scalps. So now I'm gonna give my hands a rinse. See the state of my bathroom. Then I'm gonna cut because I've left my mousse the other side of the camera. Don't you fall ring light. Like, I know I'm not going anywhere. I just burped then. So I try and set it to get bigger. That was gibberish. Didn't do my double hand wave.